To get your message out to over 2 million homes, call Positive Promotions at 302-292-3994 or log on to our website at PosProTV.com.
Oh, man. You can tell. You can tell he's in the house. That's it. That's all for you, Mr. Gordon. Hey, let me say hi. You know, because we haven't seen each other for a couple
Quite a few years.
Yeah. You've been off busy doing what? Fishing, camping.
Fishing, a little bit of camping.
Yeah. But all of a sudden, it's time for you to get back to what you do best.
Time to get back to work.
Yeah, and you're running back into for county executive.
Newcastle County Executive.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because you've had, I guess it's been what? You've been out now for.
It'll be 4 years. When.
Yeah. What have you seen changing? What the difference between you and Chris? I guess contrast in office between you two. The difference there.
The first thing you need to know, I was term limited. It means I could only run 2 terms. So I'm back because you're allowed to do a 3rd consecutive term. But I think our difference has to do with how you run a government, and I think experience and leadership. In that, we made a commitment to run a government without tax increases and improve services. And we did that. We kept the pledge for 8 years to run a government within the government's means. At the same time, it would take a long time to talk about all the programs that we were able to
Ice cream festival. Yeah, I went to ice cream. Yeah, because but that's when you talk about government, a lot of people don't realize how much of that kind of stuff that the government actually is the one that supports and puts together and everything. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of disappeared. And
they were low-cost items that brought great family events, and something that we're going to reinstitute on September 10th.
Yeah.
Put the ice cream festival back, the senior ball, sleeping under the stars, and all those great family events. Put them right back on the 10th.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that you worked hard on, and cleaning up a lot of different areas, the carousel farms. I remember when that was
Well, what you didn't see is the infrastructure that took place to make Rockwood beautiful. We had to restore the mansion that was falling apart. We put trails in there. We built a whole nother building there, and then we cleaned the place up, put that beautiful stone wall there, and then we put in there Sleep Under the Stars. We greatly improved the ice cream festival we brought the Delaware Orchestra there, we brought beautiful fireworks there, all kinds of bands, and for 3 days it was just a magnificent place where 40,000 people came to.
Easter egg hunt, that was another one of your big
little Easter egg hunt thing going on. Yeah, that was.
You were always involved with it, with the family end of it, and being sure that the county government was there doing the things. Well,
that's what we need to do. Quality of life issues are good for a number of reasons. It keeps the family together. But also, when you're attracting corporations, other businesses here, which we need to do, they look at those kind of things. What kind of libraries do you have? And if you take a look at the libraries now, and before I took office, they're greatly improved. There are many more of them. And
a lot of people don't understand that. I mean, when you talk about the libraries, you want to take that back, because you're the one that really initiated all that's happening with even in the libraries that are still having some work done on them today. It's kind of from your administration. Right. And just.
We wanted our libraries to look more like Barnes & Nobles, friendly, modern, efficient, not so much Dewey Decimal type of thing, but great presentation. And if you look at the one in Brady 100, it looks very much like a Barnes & Noble, except we give our books away, don't sell them. And it's popular, and it's used, and it's all of them are. We built the one in Woodland Park, and we built the one in, we greatly expanded the one in Newark. We funded the one that's going on in Hocassin and the new one in Kirkwood Highway, and Bear, built a library in Bear. So we really, in 8 years, went to town to improve those things that the public need, and libraries and education, and that's so that everybody has an opportunity to a good library for educational material.
Yeah, and when you're talking about the educational part of it and all that, I mean you concentrated a lot on the libraries, but you also there was a lot of other things that. And I kept saying, well, where's the tax increase? Because you did all that without really attacking, the county here for more money on taxes.
And that's really the big success story that you can actually buy. It's a book that's for sure been written about it, Reinventing Government. But what we did was we collapsed the government from 10 departments to 4. We cut a lot of programs that weren't creating value. And honoring our total commitment at first, we didn't have very much money. Everyone thinks we had a building boom, but I actually had a moratorium in place. So we did it by good management. It took Ron Morris and others that were very bright, Phoenix Management Company, from a national company, and they put together a plan to run a government without raising taxes. And then we were able to we did well on raising revenue from other means, and this particular one was the 0.5% transfer tax. So the combination of all, we were able to improve all the services. Primarily, we always kept our eye on public safety, which is number one. Not the case now, but we made sure the police department had everything they needed. Built a new police department.
With your background, for folks who are just moving into the area and maybe this is their first time, what a career. Public service has been your...
Hopefully I didn't rush anybody.
Yeah, but this has been your life, since the beginning of the time.
Since 1975, I was a police officer, and then I became chief in 1989.
Yeah, and ran a great department there. And then from there went into county.
Took a year off, went fishing.
Yeah.
And then came back in 97 and became county executive.
Yeah, and it did such a fantastic job. It's still, when you talk about that, the things that are in place today that you did, or you still see that, you feel good about yourself? I mean...
no one knows I did it. That's why I'm on TV. The history is being rewritten as we sit here.
Yeah, because people
I wasn't invited to any of the ribbon cuttings, but we're going to correct all that.
Yeah, because the thing about it is people don't realize, we've mentioned the libraries, a lot of that, that you put in place is still... It takes 4 or 5 years for all that to kind of go away, and now we're going to feel... what's been happening, and you say there's a lot. Do you see a lot of difference between the way?
I don't see. I don't want to be critical, but I don't see anything occurring in the last 4 years that wasn't started by me. And I'm concerned about. I bought 300 acres in Bear Glasgow, which is important, and Bear Glasgow Park. And my idea there was my administration's idea was a beautiful park, much like Carousel Rockwood, where we had, food fairs and food markets and I'm afraid that it's not being completed the way I want it to be completed, and it's not going to be as nice as I want it to. So I'm anxious to get back into that. But I'm seeing a finishing of a lot of some of the things that I started. The Hillcrest Library, the one on Kirkland Highway. But as you know, too many other services are being cut, and they're low-cost items, and you're going to net tremendous negativity from the community when they go say, what do we get for our tax dollars when we don't have an ice cream festival, sleep under the stars?
Well, in fact, you did so well when you were in there, because I want to take people's minds back a little bit, that the city was in trouble. I remember this, that the city was in trouble looking for in dire need. You stepped up and really, the county was doing so well and said, here, we can bail the city out.
We were doing and had a great surplus, and the city at the time was not. So what choice do you have? The city is part of the county. They pay taxes. And at the time, the police department was having a real problem, and we helped them get through their labor contract and buy some equipment and cars. Fire department was not in good shape. We were able to help them buy 8 brand new pieces of equipment, and we had the funding stream for them every year, which has been taken away. And we were able to help with a lot of nonprofits in the city that were facing some very critical times. Now they seem to be doing well, but a lot of that was from the county assisting.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did it.
And primaries are coming up. If people want more information about you, Tom, there's a website out there. You've got a lot of people campaigning for you.
TomGordon08.com.
TomGordon08.com. Hopefully you got the primaries in September.
September 9th, vote early and often.
And it all comes down, and once again, tax increases and all that. Do you see that you can be able to walk in there and kind of...
I have already compiled a team. I won't be raising taxes. Same team, same plans, Ron Morris and Phoenix Management Company and some others. So we know the numbers well, and we're going to get back in there and straighten this mess out.
That's that simple, and it's all happening for you. Once again, don't go anywhere. We're going to come right back, but be sure you vote, and if you're not...
September 9th.
Yeah, September 9th. Mr. Tom Gordon, put your hands together. Stay with me right back right after that.
Thank you.
To find out more about the Tim Qualls Show and other Positive Promotion productions, then log on to our website at www.posprotv.com.